Well, welcome everyone to the September 6th, 2022 public meeting of the Town of Conception Bay South Council. It's great to be here and it's great to see some faces in the back of the room. This is my first council meeting here in Chambers where there have actually been guests in the room with us. So it's great to have some new faces back there and some familiar faces back there. So thank you for coming. So getting right to the agenda, the first thing off the top is the adoption of the meeting agenda for this evening. Can I have someone move that? Moved by Councillor Connor, seconded by Councillor Butler. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Next is the adoption of the meeting minutes from August 16th, our last public meeting. Motion, please. Councillor Barrett, seconded by Councillor Hillier. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Business arising from previous minutes will come up in tonight's meeting and meetings going forward. So the next thing is visitors, presentations, and petitions. And tonight we have a couple of proclamations. And the first one I'll read is the proclamation for National Forest Week. Whereas Canada's forests are a valuable, renewable resource that contribute to our economy and the livelihoods of our communities. Whereas Canada's forests play a crucial role in maintaining healthy ecosystems, clean air and water and wildlife habitat, whilst being an important aspect of climate change mitigation efforts. Whereas the Town of Conception Bay South and its citizens rely on the surrounding forests for livelihood, health, and recreation. Whereas annual one-week campaign with the theme Canada's Forests Solutions for a Changing Climate will be celebrated across Canada by individuals and organizations. Therefore, as Mayor of the Town of Conception Bay South, I declare September 18th to 24th, 2022 as National Forest Week in the Town of Conception Bay South. The next proclamation we have some guests in the gallery this evening that are here for this one, is for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And at this time, I'd like to call upon Melanie Murphy, the Vice President of the Candolighters Newfoundland and Labrador chapter, and her family, Stephen and David, to come on up here with me. And we're very pleased to have in the room with us this evening, Danielle, Michael, and Alex Little. And of course, they're here in the memory of Caden Little. And of course, the Town of Conception Bay South, the province, and people across the country follow very closely Caden's story and through the whole thing. Of course, Caden was a great inspiration to all of us. And I know that he was an absolute Star Wars fan. So hopefully that the force has been with all of you over the past few years since Caden's passing. So this evening, I'm going to read a proclamation for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And then I'm going to ask our folks here to have a few words. So whereas there are about 10,000 children living with cancer in Canada today, and whereas each year about 1,600 cases are diagnosed, over 25 which are children in Newfoundland and Labrador, and whereas in Canada, childhood cancer remains responsible for more deaths from 1 year through adolescence than any other disease, and whereas about 1 in 4 children who are diagnosed with cancer will die of this disease, and whereas because of significant advances in therapy, 78% of children diagnosed with cancer will survive 5 years or more, an increase of almost 46% since the early 1960s. Whereas childhood cancers have close to 75% cure rate, with leukemia leading the success charge with close to 90% overall cure rate. Now, therefore, I, Darren Bent, on behalf of the Town of Conception Bay South, do hereby proclaim September 2022 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the Town of Conception Bay South. You have to even point, show me where to sign. like I won't be able to find it. Why don't you folks come in a little closer here now? And I'm going to ask Melanie if you would like to say a few words on behalf of Candolighters.
Thank you. On behalf of Candolighters, I would like to thank the Town of Conception Bay South for recognizing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. As Mayor Bent mentioned, we became involved with the Candolighters. I'm Vice President. We became involved when our son, David here, when he got diagnosed with cancer. And luckily for us, David is now 5 years in remission. Unfortunately, for many families, it's not quite as happy. Littles have a lifetime of grief. We have a lifetime of worry. Yes. And we're very grateful to organizations like the Candlelighters that offer both concrete and emotional support to children like ours who have endured cancer. The Candlelighters our key support, of course, is the Camp Delight, which offers a residential camp for children who have been affected by cancer, including their siblings and bereaved siblings, as well as things like scholarships, the food cupboard, and again, emotional supports for folks who are experiencing childhood cancer. And our board is volunteer and made up of people who have experienced childhood cancer, either as parents, siblings, or bereaved siblings, or survivors themselves. So we're very happy that the Candlelighters exists. We're very sorry that anyone has to join. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Melanie. And Danielle, would you like to say something?
Oh my, I can't compete with Melanie. I guess for us, we have felt the support from our town of CBS, and we are so thankful for that. It means a lot for us. Caden knew the support was behind him as well. Between the firefighters, between the changing of the lights here, he was certainly proud to stand in front of this building with green and yellow lights. So for the town this month to make this proclamation of childhood cancer awareness, no more needs to be done. You know, our child should still be here, but you know, I think it's touched everybody's life. With a child, you know, in each stage of everybody's life, there shouldn't be that word cancer, but hopefully with support, like we had with the town, that there will be a difference. And just want to say thank you to all.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle, and thank you, Melanie, for all that Candlelighters do, for supporting families. And it's great to be here with your family, and it's great to be here with your family as well. And of course, the inspiration that we all got from Caden and the messages that came from that live with us and touch our heart. And sometimes I have to say that I wondered why Conception Bay South seems to be hit so hard, you know, with childhood cancer. You know, we know the story of the Mercers, we know your story, and we know the story of other people. So I want to thank you for coming here tonight, sharing a little bit of that story, helping us all remember and keep that memory alive. All right. So thank you guys, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's move on with the regular business now of the meeting this evening. And the next business, I believe, Councillor Hillier, you have a petition to table.
Yes, Your Worship, I have a petition here presented to the Council of Conception Bay South against rezoning changes on Cherry Lane to facilitate a multi-unit development at 22 to 24 Cherry Lane. It's signed by, I'm told, approximately 150 people representing all of the streets, all of Cherry Lane, all the streets off Cherry Lane. So I'll pass this along to our staff and be read into the record.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Councillor Hillier. The next item on the agenda is new business, and this evening we're going to start with Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I just want to welcome those that are here in the gallery this evening. And it's always nice to see some of the public join us. So welcome. A couple of things. One of the things I wanted to bring just to remind people of is that one of the main Manual River fundraisers is finished last day tomorrow to get your tickets. It's the Barber Race 50/50 lottery draw. And so tomorrow at midnight is your last opportunity to get your ticket and support Manuel's River. So get your ticket and see if you can't be the person to catch the cash. Who doesn't like a bit of cash? The next item that I want to bring forward is the Bright Business Achievement Awards are coming up. And this is a great event hosted by the town where we get to celebrate our local business. And we have so many local businesses in the community. So the nominations are now open until Wednesday, September the 21st at 2:00. And you can apply on the town, directly on the town's website. And there's a number of categories. We have a new one, Sustainable Business, Community Pride and Partnership, New Startup of the Year, Established Business, Beautiful Business, Downtown CBS Member of the Year, David Murphy Leadership for Entrepreneurial Spirit and or Creativity, and the Glenda Noseworthy Award for Employee Recognition Award. And you can self-nominate or nominate a business that you are proud of, that you think is deserving of one of these awards. And the details on all the different categories is on our website. So the third item I'm bringing forward tonight comes from discussions at our administrative meeting last week. And we discussed bringing forward a land acknowledgement statement. A land acknowledgement statement, it's a formal statement that recognizes and respects Indigenous peoples and traditional stewards as traditional stewards of this land and the enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous peoples and their traditional territories. So as a committee, we brought forward this evening to our committee of the whole that we would like for staff to assist us in preparing a statement for our council that will be read at the beginning of each of our public council meetings going forward. And we hope to have our first statement read at our next meeting, public meeting on September the 20th. That's everything I have for this evening, Mayor Bent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Goss. And yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that statement. Of course, we'll consult with First Light and get the appropriate wording for that statement. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, just want to take a moment to comment on the completion of the new sidewalks down in Long Pond from Talkville Road to Anchorage Road. Traffic slowed down for a few days, but work seems to be complete there now, and we've got a beautiful new sidewalk running along the south side of Route 60. That gives us sidewalk on either side of Route 60 from Manuel's Bridge all the way to Anchorage Road, and obviously makes a difference in terms of safety and tidiness and so on along that strip. Your Worship, some people are asking why that section has sidewalks on both sides of Route 60, when in fact there are areas of the town where no sidewalk exists at all. And the answer is the new sidewalks that are being put in are actually being put in by the business community in that area, by the Downtown CBS Business Association. They collect an extra 10% of their taxes, or what they pay to the town for taxes, and use that for improving the area of the downtown. And this is just one of their projects, and I want to thank them for the work that they do and congratulate them on finishing this particular project as well. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. And I believe when they started the sidewalk project, they started up at Manuel's River and have working their way west along there and have filled in quite a bit of that as well. So it's really good to see on that side of the road for those businesses. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll do my little good news at the end of the meeting under other committees and reports, as we had no committee for this session. But I do want to speak a little bit on something that's close to me, very close to me. And even though I don't have a proclamation, there probably is one somewhere, but I'm going to just speak a little bit myself. This month is World Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And September 10th is World Suicide Prevention Awareness Day. The theme for 2022 is creating hope through action. First of all, I want to give you some startling statistics in Canada. In Canada, 10 people die by suicide each day. Children and youth aged 10 to 19 years, suicide is the second leading cause of death. In adults, youth 10 to 19, youth 20 to 29, it's also the second leading cause of death. Adults 30 to 44 is the third cause of death. 45 to 64 is the seventh cause, and age 65 plus is the 12th cause. For every one suicide death, there are 5 self-inflicted injuries and or hospitalizations. There are 25 to 30 attempts, and there are 7 to 10 people who are profoundly affected by suicide loss, and I am one of them. There is hope. Suicide can be prevented. Help is out there. You are not alone. If you're worried about someone who's experiencing suicidal thoughts, we encourage you to ask them directly. Asking someone if they're suicidal won't make things worse. Evidence shows it could protect them. If someone does let you know that they are having suicidal thoughts, always take them seriously. You don't have to be an expert. Just being there to listen and showing you care can help them work through what's going on. Let them know they are not a burden and there's always someone they can turn to, whether it's a family member or a friend or 24/7 helpline. And in Canada, we do have the helplines, and all the information for the contacts can be found online. There's toll-free number 24/7, 1-833-456-4566. You can text at 4 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time, text 45645, and then someone will be on the other end to talk to you. I want to thank you for giving me this time to talk about this. If you are in crisis, please contact the call center. Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Very appropriate. Councillor Connors.
Thank you, Mayor Mint. Tonight I want to talk about cellular service and internet service, or the lack thereof, in Conception Bay South. So recently our local newspaper, The Shoreline, ran an article where the mayor of Holyrood, Gary Gooby, spoke about a problem, an old problem, what he called it, that is constantly getting worse. And I can't agree with him more. Now, I can't speak for the west end of town personally, because I'm down there, but I don't go down there a whole lot. But I'm sure there are issues down there. But I can confidently speak about from Kitty Eight's turn to Seal Cove for sure. This area is just it's deteriorating. The service is just deteriorating, and it's basically a lack of service. Both voice and data in the area is either very poor or non-existent at all at times, even late at night when there shouldn't be any traffic around. There's no traffic on the roads, or there shouldn't be any traffic on the bandwidth or anything like that. The service is still pretty poor. And as the second largest municipality in Newfoundland, with 27,000 people and still growing, this to me is ridiculous. On side roads up in that area, you can't get service. It's non-existent. Driving along Route 60s, there's dropped calls all over the place. If you're next to a building, even trying to get Wi-Fi or anything like that is not there, inside or out the building. And this is all because of poor network. They put a new tower up next to the stadium, which supposedly was going to improve this, but to be honest, I haven't seen any improvement. It's my understanding from people since I started checking on this that upgrades are not planned until 2023 or later. And like, if people got to keep going with this poor service throughout the west end of the town and probably the east end of town as well, like, it's not right. People are paying good money for this, and they deserve a good service. So first of all, I'm going to ask all residents to go on their service provider's website and fill out a complaint and measure or follow that with them, because they do, what I'm told, check their stats on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, to see where all the complaints are coming from. So the town of Holyrood is doing this, and I think that residents of Conception Bay South should do it as well. We need them to hear loud and clear that the service that they are providing is not adequate for a population our size, and hopefully the squeaky wheel will get something done before 2023 or later. In the article, Mayor Gooby said he is not going to let this issue go until it's resolved. He said the company's lack of action is unacceptable and that residents deserve better. And I think that's true for the residents of Conception Bay South as well. And I would like council to join the Holyrood Council in coordinating a face-to-face meeting with the service providers, and so our complaints can be heard as well. We need network improvements, and we basically need them down. So I'm going to pass this along, and I hope to the appropriate committee, and we can get some action on.
Thank you, Councillor Connors. And of course, you know, this is a complaint that you would expect to hear from a much more rural area of the province or even Canada, not from a community that's the second largest in the province, is very close to the, I guess, the largest center in the province and the hub. You know, there are dropouts from one end of town to the other. It's not a West End. It's not a central town thing. It's not an East End thing. There are pockets all through the town that people are having trouble. Originally, I thought it was just an old cell phone that you had, but when I went around and checked outside, it wasn't. It's you know, there are places everywhere, and I'm not going to name any of them because the people that live in these areas know where they are. And I agree with you. I encourage them to send in their concerns to their providers, and I'll ask staff to effort a meeting with the provider and the people that own the infrastructure to see if we can get service improved for the residents of Conception Bay South. Thank you, Councillor Connors. Councillor Barrett.
Thank you, Your Worship, and just to echo Mayor Bent, east end of town, similar, you know, driving from Topsail to Chamberlain's on Route 60, you know, you cut in and out too. So certainly appreciate you bringing that forward and looking to see if we can try to organize something for the betterment of our residents. Not much tonight, Your Worship. I suspect you will be touching on this a bit later, but it bears repeating. We have new speed limits in Conception Bay South school areas. I know you had we're discussing that a bit earlier today, but folks are asked to reduce their speeds to a maximum of 30 kilometers an hour when driving through various school zones, which is in effect from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so these zones include Topsail Elementary, which is on Route 60, Villanova Junior High and Holy Spirit High School, Frank Roberts Junior High and Queen Elizabeth Junior High, that's on Foxtrap Access Road, St. Edward's and Admiral's Academy, Upper Gullies Elementary, and St. George's Elementary. And so I think it's a really positive step for us as a council and as a community. And I want to extend my best wishes to all students, staff, and teachers for a safe and productive school year. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Just a couple of things to bring forward this evening. We had Pirate Day a couple of Saturdays ago down to Topsail Beach. It was a very successful day. There was a lot of pirate kids running around. Parents were fully engaged. I think there was a lot of people in costume this year versus the previous years. So it was a really good day. The Raiders of Avalon were there. Tim Hortons did their thing again, supplied all the Timbits. There was some tattoos and stuff. There was water. Ray Lake, he was doing so good. We all got in onto the limbo and stuff. Like, it was a really fun day for the kids to get out and be able to have that interaction again. And then all the pirates had various stations throughout the beach. So it was a real fun day for all the families, and a lot of people stayed around and really waited until they had to leave. The sidewalks in upper gullies, they're all completed now. I have seen a lot of people using those, which is really good. We are in a 1.6 kilometer to the school, so it's very important that we can certainly get the families and their kids to school safely on the side of the road. Walking for Wellness begins again tomorrow at 10:30. So it's going now for the next 8 weeks, and each week is at a different location. Tomorrow's location is actually at Worsley Park. So I encourage everyone, all the residents, to go to our website or our social media page and figure out each week where it is. And the last one I have is a reminder of the newcomers welcoming evening on Tuesday, September 13th from 6 to 8, located at Topsail Beach. So I certainly welcome everyone to go to that. I think it's going to be a nice evening where we can welcome some new residents into our community. Thank you, Mayor Bent.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. Okay, I just have a couple of things this evening. First off, last night, myself and Councillor Tilley, and Councillor Tilley is joining us by remotely, I guess, through YouTube or Zoom, I guess it is. This evening is not here in person, but myself and Councillor Tilley were down to Nugent's Field last night for the annual awards for the Special Olympics softball group, and 34 strong this year. It's the largest group ever, and it was a fantastic time. It always is. And great job by all the athletes down there this year. They've really worked on their skills, and their organizer, Eric Hart, is actually working to put together a team to go to Special Olympics Nationals with softball. So hopefully many of them will get to go on that trip. A thank you to Tony Gooby, who's a sponsor of the group, and all the volunteers that come out every week to support and to help them. And I was down there last night. They're just incredible people, and they do some great work with the athletes, and they get the best out of them. And it's a great program. So it was a pleasure to be there last evening for that. It's been mentioned earlier, of course, and we did an official announcement this morning, I guess a launch, if you will, but it's back to school tomorrow. And I know most parents aren't watching this evening to see this, but what I would say to anybody that is watching, tomorrow being the first day, if you have children and you remember kindergarten, you know that it's going to be a little bit of a bustle around the elementary schools, because we have a lot of parents that are going to school with their little one for the first time. And that's always a wonderful experience on day one, especially when it comes to traffic. So I ask everyone to be a little extra patient around the elementary schools tomorrow. But more than that, from now and going forward, and of course, they were unveiled a few days ago, but officially in place now is the 30-kilometer speed limit in all the school zones in the town. And we put in some feedback signs. There's new paint on the roads with some new markings, and the new signs are up letting everyone know that the speed limit is in effect from 7:30 in the morning until 5 p.m. in the afternoon on days that school is in. So we ask everybody to respect that. And we're very pleased this morning to have the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary join us, along with the principal of Admiral's Academy for the announcement. And of course, the RNC partner with us in this, and they understand the new speed limits are in, and they're able to enforce those in those school zones. So we've asked them to do that and to be vigilant in watching those school zones going forward. So I ask everyone to be extra safe tomorrow. Be very cautious throughout the town, and always, but tomorrow especially, as the kids get back to school, and some of them for the first time ever. So hopefully that'll be a very safe return for them. Just a couple other notes. I just want to send our thoughts out to those injured and their families after the explosion this past week in Come By Chance Refinery. Of course, you know, when you go to work, the main thing is that you want to come home, you know, as well as you went. And unfortunately, on Friday, that didn't happen for I believe it was 6 workers at the Come By Chance Refinery, and they're recovering now. And we wish them all the best and a speedy recovery. And finally, the town of Conception Bay South sends its heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims of the horrific attacks in Saskatchewan in and around the James Smith Cree Nation near Weldon in that province. Of course, our wishes for speedy recoveries for all those who were injured in this horrible attack. And it's a really unthinkable, tragic event that has taken place, and our thoughts are with the people of Saskatchewan. And I just want to note that the flags here at Conception Bay South will be flying at half staff, I believe, starting tomorrow, Chief, to honor them and the memories of those victims and of this horrible attack. That's it for me this evening, and we can move right on to the regular business of the meeting. And first off, as always, recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee, and the chair is Councillor Rex Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, these are recommendations brought forward from our Planning Committee meeting of August 30, 2022. Number 5A, 3842 Salem Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 7 of the town's commercial motor vehicle regulations, application number 1833, received June 16, 2022, seeking approval to park a commercial vehicle at 3842 Salem Place, be refused in consideration that the property lacks frontage on a public street and does not have the minimum lot area required. So moved.
We have a seconder, seconded by Councillor Butler. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
5B, be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 5.15, 5.193, and 5.194 of the town's development regulations, application number 2086 received August 11, 2022 for the construction of a single dwelling at 4 Camp Emmanuel Place be approved on condition that the dwelling shall not increase the non-conformity and confirmation of an access agreement to the property from Camp Emmanuel Place via the right-of-way identified on the property survey. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Barrett. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 5C, be it so resolved that in accordance with council's discretionary authority of section 5.3.1 and 5.33 of the town's development regulations, application number 2007 received July 21st, 2022 for a 14.4 meter by 15 meter accessory building at 290 Fowlers Road be approved on condition that the accessory building shall not be used for commercial purposes, that the accessory building be placed a minimum of 10 meters from the rear boundary line of the adjacent property. A tree buffer be retained between the building and adjacent property lines, and that the building be balanced with the main building in terms of exterior finish, roof line, and pitch. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. We received some correspondence from the neighbors when we advertised this particular item, and the conditions that we've put on the recommendation are basically in response to some of the things that we heard from the neighboring properties.
So the committee feels confident that the conditions will meet the concerns.
Pretty much so.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 5D, be it so resolved that the permit renewal fee for a home-based business at 71 Seal Cove Road be waived in consideration that the permit was held pending the outcome of a third-party appeal. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Mayor Bent, I declared conflict on 5E as it is in close proximity to my residence.
So number 5E, be it so resolved that in accordance with council's discretionary authority of section 3.12 of the town's development regulations, application number 1978 dated July 13, 2022 for a variance to reduce the minimum frontage by 10% for each of the 3 lots to be subdivided from 73 to 77 Andrews Road be approved. So moved.
Seconder, Deputy Mayor Goss. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 5F.
1 second, Counselor.
Number 5F, 27 McCutcheon's Road. Be it so resolved that application number 2022 received on July 25th, 2022, seeking approval for development of a single dwelling service. Of a single dwelling service with an on-site private well and septic system at 27 McCutcheon's Road be approved, subject to approval from Service NL for the private well and septic system. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Connors, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, is not something we often see at this point in time. Application for well and septic, but McCutcheon's Road is partially completed with water and sewer, and we don't see that completion for some years down the road. So this person wants to get on with developing their lot. All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 512, Conception Bay Highway. Be it so resolved that under the authority of sections 22 and 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the report and recommendations of Commissioner Jepchek respecting Conception Bay South Municipal Plan Amendment number 21, 2022, and Development Regulations Amendment number 39, 2022 be accepted as presented. And further, be it so resolved that under the authority of section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, that Conception Bay South Municipal Plan Amendment number 21, 2022, and Development Regulations Amendment number 39, 2022 be approved as adopted. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Barrett, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, we've several rezoning applications at various stages in the process. This one's come to the end now. We're actually voting on whether or not to accept these amendments. And really what we've got here, we've got a town where we've tried to put every property in a zoning pattern, in a zoning map, and it doesn't always work because of the nature of the town and the way land has traditionally been divided and so on. So in this case, we had a gentleman or a resident with property on Route 60 that was commercial. He wanted to develop it commercially, but the backland was zoned residential, which was inaccessible. So he asked to have the residential area rezoned to commercial, so that the entire, in fact, what's going there is a self-storage mall. So we bring that forward this evening.
Yeah. So effectively, the residential zone part was a back lot, and that's not allowed. So it was stuck.
Yeah, you would have had to go through a commercial lot to get to the back, to get to the residential lot.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And Your Worship, finally,
I have to declare a conflict as one of the items listed here, 84 Redbridge Road, is next to, very close to my brother's house.
finally, Your Worship, blanket statement, be it so resolved that decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on August 30, 2022 be accepted as presented. And the other issues that were discussed at that meeting are listed below. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Butler, discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
All right. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Next up is recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. And this evening, Councillor Connors will lead the way on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. These are the recommendations and decisions from the August 30th meeting of the Recreation Committee, or Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. 6A is the Community Park Rubber Matting, ratification of the approval to award. Be it so resolved that approval is given to award the supply and installation granular material for the community park playground area to the grand concourse at an upset cost of $56,977.56. Excuse me. Funds are available in the open space fund. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hardy, discussion?
This is the material that's needed that the installer is recommending to install the rubber matting to move on with the park as we get closer to opening up the park.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next is the blanket resolution.
For Connors, there's an item in the blanket recommendation that involves my employer, so I'm going to step out for that. Deputy Mayor.
Six B, the blanket resolution for the Recreation Leisure Services Committee report. Before I do that, there's a couple of things I just wanted to mention that were discussed that I want to just highlight here tonight. Well, this one here is there will be a wreath making workshop on Thursday, September 15th for 6:30. I guess this is for the fall October wreath making. I hope not for Christmas wreath making. The cost of the workshop is $25 plus HST, and registration is open online at cbswreathmaking.eventbrite.ca. And just a update on the recreation complex, the swimming pool. The maintenance of the roof of the swimming pool remains ongoing, although it's probably the nicest summer in a very long time. Those days that we had heavy downpours and the inclement weather were not good for roofing, causing the contractor to lose more working days than anticipated. So the town is going to update this project sometime this week and the reopening of the facility. So stay tuned for the new pool swim program that will be coming out soon. So the recommendation is, be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions of the Recreation and Leisure Service Committee meeting of August 30, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett, sorry. Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Can we get Mayor Ben?
Okay, next up, recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee, Deputy Mayor Andrea Gauss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I'm bringing forward the recommendations of the Financial Administrative Services Committee meeting of August 29th. The exciting world of finance. Our first item is our accounts payable check register. Sorry. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $203,368.86 as per the attached listing. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hardy, discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item is the manual check register. Be so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks totaling $234,525.77. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Connors. Discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item is the capital invoice approval. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $428,759.83 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Barrett, discussion?
Mayor Bent, these are our capital works projects that are ongoing, our library, our community park, the lift station upgrades, gateway development options, and the Cronin's Head roof assessment. Lots of work going on. It's actually a small capital works register, but nonetheless, there's lots going on in the community.
Thank you. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item, tax and other receivables adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable accounts as presented. So moved.
Second. Counselor Butler, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Our next item 7E is related to the gateway development. Be it so resolved that approval be given to engage Pinnacle Engineering for an update gateway phase 1 site plan at a cost of $54,500 plus HST, and funds are available in account as presented.
Seconder. Counselor Hillier, discussion?
Mayor Bent, the concept plan for the gateway development requires updating to include our existing businesses and the site identified for the new community center. The scope will also update site work, costing, grading requirements for the whole business park. We continue to speak with potential users of the site and feel that this updated information will greatly assist us with our marketing efforts, which will be intensifying this fall.
Yep, the people you talk to expect to have the top data, the best data, and of course, a lot has changed up in that area over the past number of years since the last site plan was done, and of course, demographics in the area have increased dramatically, and we're very excited to move forward with that and to continue to work to get that place developed. Thank you. Is any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And that just leads right into the next item, 7F for the community
Now, on the
center.
next item, I'm going to declare a conflict as I have in the past in this one because the concept plan may affect my employer.
Okay. Who's going to take over for you? You want to take over for him and I'll read. Like that?
Okay.
Or do you want to read my report? Go ahead. Okay. Councilor Hillier is going to take over for Mayor Bent as I've got a little report to read with this. So on the community center concept plan, be it so resolved that approval be given to engage LET 49 for a community center concept plan at a cost of $52,000 plus HST. Funds are available in the capital project account. So moved.
Second. Counselor Connors. Discussion.
So the community center, the development of a new community center continues to be a priority for our council. It's already been announced that our preferred location for the facility will be at the Gateway. The next phase of the project will be to complete a functional programming and schematic design concept plan to help with further consultations and council's decision-making. Potential components of the community center were identified through consultations for the recreation and cultural master plan and include gymnasia, courts, synthetic field surfaces, an indoor track, multi-purpose rooms, and an aquatic center may be part of our future expansion, and a flexible performance space with retractable spectator seating may or may not be part of the same building. The functional programming and design concept plan will be used to develop a budget and support our funding applications as we take this forward.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Bring in the mayor.
They keep going through the door. Last item for the Financial Administrative Services Committee is our departmental report. Be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting held on Monday, August 29th, 2022, be as accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Hillier, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And that's it for me, Mayor Bent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Goss. And this evening, there's no report from engineering or the Economic Development Committee because they did not meet. But we're moving on to other committee reports now. And I believe Councillor Butler, you had something to report from Economic Development.
Yes, even though we didn't meet, I always have a little good news. It's always good to end off that way. So first of all, our Savor CBS is a new food and culture festival in our community taking place October 1st to the 9th. The community-wide festival is set to kick off with the annual Chefs for Trails event at Manuels River on Saturday, October 1st. More events will be announced as they are confirmed. Businesses or organizations involved in tourism attractions or food and beverage that would like to participate are encouraged to reach out to staff at the town to learn more about the festival and the criteria for being added to the Savor CBS schedule. More information on the festival can be found at savorcbs.com. And one other item, downtown CBS has been very busy this summer. They've been successful in finding funding to support their projects. They have concluded another construction season on the T Railway Loop, which is designed to provide safe pedestrian access to the downtown business improvement area and connect tree railway users to its shops and businesses via town roads. They are also looking forward to their annual member breakfast scheduled for Tuesday, September 27th. Email invites have been sent to downtown CBS members, and they are reminded to RSVP if they plan to attend. And as usual, councillors are always invited to that breakfast, and I look forward to it again this year. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Did anyone else have any other committee reports this evening before we wrap up? Okay, well, thank you. And again, wish everybody a safe and happy return to the school year. And we'll be meeting again here for our public meeting on September the 20th. So I'll call for a motion for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Barrett, seconded by Councillor Hardy. Thank you very much.